So in this video we are going to be continuing to take a look at a scenario where civilization starts over. We are now on episode 30 already of the series. Wow, this has gone very quick. 30 episodes in and I'm loving the series so far. But anyway, in the last episode we mostly focused on the conference for Africa, the Naples conference, and we saw Africa begin to get divided up. We also did see a few wars take place throughout the world and the building up of alliances. If you do end up enjoying this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and let's get straight into it. So I did focus on it a lot heavily in the last episode, so I don't want it to be too big of a part of this episode, so I am going to get it out of the way quickly, and this is going to be the finishing of the conference, which will be dividing up Africa. So the first thing is the Galicians are going to be meeting up their colonial claim through like a bunch of supply chains through the desert. And after this they are going to be finishing off their colony, which will look something like this right here, a very large claim going all the way from the Atlantic over here to the Red Sea, and this is their goal achieved, so they are very happy about that. Next up we're going to be looking at this land over here, and it's actually very simple. All of it is going to be going over to Indonesia, if I can put it in the right spot. There we go. All of this land is going to be going over to Indonesia, and the final bit is going to be this Saharan area over here. In coordinates with Morocco, the Irish are going to be taking their claim, and it's really not too big of a claim. Also, I just realised these islands are still not taken. That is very unrealistic. If I were to say, then it would probably be the French who have this. And you, Galicia. So anyway, the Irish are going to be taking their colony right here. And then the French are going to be expanding this one. In the conference, they did want like pretty much all of this Gold Coast area, but this colony over here is going to be limited with the expansion, so let's go ahead and see how big it's going to get. And this colony actually does grow quite a bit, however they do not get as much as they wanted nearly. So this is going to be what they see here. Next up, the purchasing of this port by the English to Galicia is finally going to go through, and the English are now going to start to expand their colony a lot. They take all of the land on the coast and then begin to move up. And very sadly for this Burkina Faso country, they were trying to expand down and meet up with the coast. However, of course, the Europeans had to get in their way, and now they are being invaded by a foreign power. Very sad. These guys, they were a very chill country, and their ruler, who is probably dead, it's probably like his grandson or something, the person who went and founded this country, he is unfortunately going to be captured and killed in prison, so that sucks. And after that, the English are going to be making their full claim, which is going to be all of this land right here, a very large Saharan portion. And finally, the rest of the land is going to be divided up by Carthage and Morocco. So let's go ahead and see and look what this looks like. So despite some bad things happening in the rest of the conference, the good thing is now Morocco is very thick. We love big Morocco. And the Carthaginians are going to be getting the rest of this land. And just like that, all of Africa has been divided up by the colonial powers. We see the lion's share goes over to the English, the Indonesians, and the Galicians, of course, because they are the strongest countries attending this conference. But other notable countries that get a lot are the French, and the Pyreneesians looked out a lot. The Galicians, they knew that they weren't going to get the Congo, so they said, hey, why don't we just give it to Pyrenesia because they're our ally, and they did it like a voting system, and because everyone else who wanted it voted for themselves to get it, and because Pyrenesia then got 2 votes as Galicia also voted for them, that is why they ended up getting the Congo. Now, following this conference, the world is actually going to see a pretty long period of peace. Nothing is really going on. There are a few very small wars here and about, but none of them actually result in border changes. Like, I would imagine that these would be taking place in Asia right here, mostly from border skirmishes. But nothing too major happens. Mostly right now, we are just in a period of everyone's just chilling out, and technology is rapidly advancing. We are now in the year 1885, and everything is going good. And then the world powers realise, yo, I think we forgot something. Australia over here, they are pretty much completely uncolonised. The French did go in there a little bit 2 episodes ago, I think. And they got in on it, sure. However, most of the land is still unclaimed, so there is going to be a treaty that will be dividing the rest of this land up. And because there's absolutely no rivers here, they are going to divide it up with awful straight lines. So very simply, the land is going to be divided up looking like this. The Indonesians and the French are going to be getting the most, I guess, valuable land. None of this land is really valuable. The French definitely get the best bits. They have the good coastal land right here. And the Indians, I'm not too sure how valuable this land is, but I'm pretty sure most of this land is just desert. So they don't really get too much out of this. And Australia is very blue and fully divided up. And that essentially marks the colonization of the full world, I guess. It did take quite a while, but the world is now fully colonized, and everyone is bracing for a war. They know a war is going to happen because tension has been building up with alliances, like I've been saying, and with nowhere to expand now, a lot of these expansionist powers are looking to invade. And then, out of absolutely nowhere, the Scottish are going to be like, we want a colonial empire as well. So they go down, they take this island, I think this is South Georgia or something, I believe that's what it's called. And then, for absolutely no reason, and to everyone's surprise, they decide to start colonizing Antarctica. Why? Well, because they can, I guess. They just want to for some reason. The Scottish, they want to build a colonial empire, and because they were the ones to discover Antarctica, they're like, hey, we should be the ones to get the continent. And because no one else really wants it, they are able to get it. Now they can't go down far at all because, well, ice. But yeah, that's what we see happening there. But now we have to go over to Central Asia because something is going to be taking place. And that is going to be over here with India. So a few episodes ago, to kind of go at the Indians, Indonesia invaded this very small little, I believe it was a pink country right there, to kind of interfere with India's sphere of influence. Now, to be honest, this really doesn't do anything because every country around this, they are already under India's sphere of influence. And, well, India is going to try and look at a way to go back at Indonesia. And they can't seem to find anything until they realise there's been someone doing absolutely nothing for literally forever right next to them. The Sri Lankan country. Now, this isn't really Sri Lanka, this is more like a Tamil country. Now, the Tamil country, they are extremely neutral. They are neutral with everyone. They don't have good relations, and they don't have bad relations with anyone. They are literally just chilling and trading. And India is going to make a proposition. They don't want these guys to get invaded by Indonesia. However, it is looking like Indonesia is going to be doing exactly that. So they give the Tamil country two options. One, we invade you and you die. Great option, we love that. Or two, you join our alliance so they can't invade you to make you die. Now, luckily for this country, they are smart and they realise we don't really want to die, so their best course of action is to join the alliance, which is exactly what they do. The Tamil country joins in on the Triangle Alliance, and it turns out that Indonesia had been doing exactly what India thought they had, and they had been going for this country. Literally, they join the alliance, and then 2 days later, a bunch of Indonesian warships show up on the coast, and India is like, bye bye, and they just go, so that sucks for them, I guess. But next up, we're going to be moving over here to Siberia. So these two countries right here, the Sakhalin country and the Manchurian country, they don't like each other that much. These guys were historically a part of the Baikal Empire, and when they were, they had access to the coast right up here. I don't know if we'll be able to see it on the province map. I think it's gone now, yeah. But they had land going like this, and it connected them up with the coast. And despite the fact that most of this is frozen water, they do still want coastal access because some of their land is completely inhabitable. I believe over here there's an area of land that's just almost completely frozen throughout all of the year that you can't really live in. It might be over here actually. But either way, these guys want coastal access and they just want land. And they have a claim over it, like I said, from the Baikal Empire. And this has been a big tension point between these two guys for a very long time, actually. And it's finally going to come to a head when the Manchurians decide to launch an invasion into the Sakhalin country. These guys, I don't think they've ever actually worked together in the past. In that coalition war against Neo-Baikal a few episodes ago, the Sakhalin country hadn't even been involved at all. So these guys don't really have any reason to not want to invade them. They do very well at first, and they do meet up with the coast. They achieve their goal, and they capture two major cities on the border. They capture this one, and they had already captured this one, and then they start moving towards other cities around. So the Red Country is now going to move into all of this land over here, And to make it even worse for the Sakhalin country, they attempt to recruit Baikal to join the war. However, Baikal, they're still rebuilding, they don't really want to get involved in a war anyway. And as well as that, Hokkaido decides to join the war because they want Sakhalin. So they launch an invasion and take all of Sakhalin, and they start to bombard the capital from the coast. They also invade around in the Siberian area. I'm not too sure how realistic this is. All they do is take that city, and then they kind of make a landing over here. This green country, which is kind of in an awful situation, is going to see the opportunity to gain land. So they are also going to get in on this, and unfortunately for this peachy country, they are now getting absolutely cooked. These guys also kind of want coastal access as well. And with this going on, these guys are essentially just going to be forced to surrender. So let's go ahead and take a look at this peace treaty. So in the peace treaty, the division of land is going to be looking something like this. I can't speak today. It's going to be looking something like this. We can see that the green country does get a very large portion of the land. They now even meet up with the coast. And after integrating the land as quickly as they can, they move their capital city over to this one right here. Hokkaido does get a little bit of this land, and they actually take quite a large amount compared to their country size. But it's very easy to rule this land because apart from this major city, there's like 3 people and 2 bears living there, so really no issues for them. And the Sakhalin country has been completely reduced back. Oh yeah, these guys, they get land as well. They now look like a blob. But that is actually going to be it for this episode. I'm sorry if this one was a little bit short because I've basically got everything that I need set up for a pretty big war that's going to be coming soon. So expect to see that maybe in the next episode. I do hope you still enjoyed this episode, and I will see you in the next one.